All right. Hey, everybody, this is Jansen. We have just a couple minutes to our live broadcast. Give me just about a minute and a half, and we're going to get started. Try to get all your friends on today. This is actually Red Friday. Remember everyone deployed, but we also add in police officers, nurses, doctors, school teachers, and every single hero out there that gives up their lives, okay? The reason why we remember everyone deployed is because the people that take their lives are the people that feel like the system has failed them and stuff like that. We're going to get going here in just a second, so give me just a second, everybody, and we will get going here. I'm just literally waiting for the time to hit right to get everybody on so that everybody knows today is Friday Motivation. All right, and today you may want to keep it, if you get offended easy, you may not want to watch today. The reason why is because my job is not sitting there to sugarcoat things. My mission in life is to make sure you know you matter and you're important. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Hey everybody, my name is Jansen. We're going to go ahead and get started now. I've got some people on some other networks that you don't see because I got a couple other live feeds going on. I was asked to do a motivation thing that even though I do it all the time, I was actually asked to do it today. And this time I'm going to go over what it means to be motivated, but also what you need to do in order to make it in life and to basically get a better grasp on life. Okay? Now, after this video, I will do some reading with my books, but it won't be very long. I have a 2 o'clock meeting I have to get to. But anyway, as my team is coming on, hey, you doing, Cheryl? Hey, Becky. Hey, everybody. Understand this. As we're going through this, when I get started, I'm not going to stop until the end. And it'll probably go for about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? It depends on how much people are listening and what you need from me today. First off, as we're getting started and as people are getting on, remember, red means remember everyone deployed. As you can see, I'm wearing my red shirt today. Most Fridays I wear something red. February, this is Black History Month. Don't forget to look at all the wonderful things and why we have a Black History Month. There's a new thing on Netflix. The short guy, what's his name? Anyway, go on Netflix and there's some stuff on Black History Month, okay? Hey, Richard, how you doing, my old Marine Corps buddy? Everybody, Richard and I, we went over to AP Hill is where Richard and I were at. Greatest guy in the world, awesome Marine. He came in after me. He's a boot. Love him to death. Hope you're doing great, Korea. I'm not used to calling you by your first name. Okay, we've got some more people coming on here. Okay, we're about ready to get started. All right, everybody, let's start again. Today is Friday, February 15th, 2019. This is Friday Motivation. I hope every one of you knows that you're important, that you matter. Today, I want you to take a quick look at what motivation is and what it does. But now there's a new twist on things I want to add into there. I want you to know about who you're leading, who you're following, who is your inspiration on different things. A long time ago, I was told that we should be writing down people that inspire us, everywhere from maybe Thomas Jefferson to, Caligula or, Han, from the Ottoman empires and stuff like that, maybe to the presidents, maybe Obama or Trump or whatever else. Don't go to politics, okay, people? I'm not going politics here. I'm just saying some people get motivated by different people. They like the closers. They like the people that they can follow and lead, but then take over the lead, and then they get the lead also. Every day in life, I put a thing out there today that showed who my inspirations are. My dad is my biggest inspiration. He's been there for me, never given up on me. I put on Rich Ellerman because he brought me into a business when I was down and about, and a lot of people don't know how low I got, okay? So he was a leader, and he continues to this day to keep training me and keep leading me and stuff like that. Other ones are like Brian Carruthers. Now, I did put this on my Facebook page, but I want you to know why I put these people down. I didn't put them down because I'm trying to kiss butt or anything like that. I put them down is because they've never given up on anybody. But if you give up on yourself, they're going to push you, and they're going to push you hard, okay? There's no such thing as a free ride anywhere. I also put down Melissa Carruthers. The reason why, she's Brian's wife. She's a mother of 3, and we have a lot of strong ladies in our business, but there's a lot of my friends that are females, especially the Marines and stuff like that, who sometimes feel they don't have a just cause, and Melissa's a great inspiration there. I also put down my daughter, of course, and Alan Roman, who basically does things on his own, and he just keeps driving every day. He's in his 70s. He just drives, and he does a great job, and he's from my hometown. Now, I've got hundreds of leaders and mentors everywhere from Sergeant Major Squires to Sergeant Major Edens. I don't know what Staff Sergeant, we called him Debo. I don't know what he ended up getting out as, but we had Gunny Wright. We had all kinds of awesome leaders in the Marine Corps. You need to have somebody to follow if you're going to get motivated, okay? A lot of people think motivation just comes naturally. It doesn't. Motivation is something that you acquire over time with lots of failure and little success. And that's actually a positive thing. There's nothing you can do in life that you won't fail at. If you're not failing, you don't understand what success is, which means you don't hunger for it, okay? You got to want to hunger for what you're doing. You got to have a great mentor. Now, there's a lot of people that they go out there and they promise to do all this stuff, and it's funny, I watch, and then the first thing they do is they quit. They give up. Oh, they're going to go coward because they can't take doing what it is they said they do. They don't want to go to that job because, oh, it's just too much pressure. They don't want to go and do those sales because, oh, I'm not a salesperson. Or they don't want to go out because they don't want to bug anybody. Now, would I tell everybody this? If your life was on the line or your kid's life was on the line, what would you do? And I don't mean, oh, let me think about it. And I give my example of when my sister used to tell me this, okay? My sister used to tell me this all the time. I'm stubborn. I'm hard-headed. So some of you guys might understand this, okay? But my sister used to always tell me, hey, Jeff, you've been a lifeguard for a long time. You've been a head guard. You do all these things. But what if you were drowning? What would you do if you were drowning? And I wasn't following her exactly, but I was like, what would I do? She goes, you're always trying to save everybody else, but what if you're the one drowning? What if you can't swim? And somebody throws a buoy to you. I was like, I'd push the buoy to somebody else. She goes, you can't. She goes, in order for you to save anybody, do any good for anybody, you have to save yourself first. What good are you when you're dead? What good are you when you're under the water? What good are you if you do not, because you can't push the buoy, you can't push the lifesaver, you can't do that. But once you get it, how many more people can you help save? So she always said this, and my motivation and over time was to try to prove her wrong, okay? And then I had a teacher in school that told me one day when I turned in a paper and she couldn't find it, turns out it was mixed in with a different group of papers. She told me, well, life's not fair, Jeff. I'm like, well, you going to grade it? She goes, no, life's just not fair. I wouldn't have got mad if I knew that it wouldn't have been turned in the right way. So I've been out to prove these people wrong. Life is fair if you make it fair. And if it's right there in front of you, it'll always be fair. Now, granted, you're right. Some things in life are not fair. But it doesn't mean that we go cower into a hole and hide. Okay? I have so many people that make all kinds of promises. Art Williams always says, just do it. Okay? And that's what I'm telling each and every one of you for motivation. To find a leader, find somebody that is willing to never give up on you. Okay? You'll give up on yourself before they'll give up on you. I promise you this right now. The reason why I mention people in my life, okay, is because I may drive them crazy, but I will give up on myself before they will give up on me. Okay? And that's the reason why I use examples that I do. These people I use, I don't say for jokes and for games and stuff like that. I say it because they have never given up on me. My dad has never given up on me. I will never give up on my daughter. Okay? My mentors will never give up on me. Just like in the Marine Corps. Okay? We start out as a fire team. Okay? We can't give up on each other because either we all come back or none of us do. And then we go into a squad. Each squad develops into a platoon develops into a company. We bring everybody out. No matter dead or alive, we come out. And that's the best way to look at things. You've got to look up to people. You're always having a mentor in your life. You always have somebody to look up to. You're always going to be a boot to somebody. That means that you came in later on, okay? Everybody that's in the Marine Corps today is a boot to me. However, when I came in the Marine Corps, everybody before me, I'm a boot to. Now, I know a lot of people don't always understand that, but you're always going to be a boot to somebody. But those boots that you're to are mentors to you, okay? They're the ones that know they have to train you because you're only as good as your weakest link, okay? And it goes for all walks of life. You're only as good as your weakest link. So if you give up on somebody and you don't care about somebody, well, then until you go back to make sure they're okay, you're never going to be as good as them. The reason why is because part of the job of being a mentor and a leader is going back and doing what others refuse to do, going in areas where others refuse to go and walking into the blackness and the darkness when nobody else is willing to do it. You may get, but the thing about it is, you don't know the unknown, and the thing that we're scared of the most is the unknown. So to be motivated, find that leader in your team. Find that person that you can basically bounce ideas off of, that you can go in and basically become somebody better. If you're the only one and you're the leader, then start reading books every day. Start basically finding ways of getting inspiration so you continue to lead. Okay, leaders basically have to know a lot more. They have to basically be prepared for the unknown. They have to go in when others refuse. And to get motivated every single day, you got to find somebody that you can just attach yourself to and know that they're not going to give up on you. Okay? That's what being a mentor is. That's what being a leader is. I have all these people, and now I'm not going to tell you, this is not a religious thing, but I have all these people that says, oh, you got to follow Christians. You want to know something? We was never told in the Bible or anywhere else to follow Christians. We follow Jesus. Okay? I'm not going to follow somebody when they're going to jump off a bridge because they think it's fun. Okay, that's not what a leader does. A leader will make sure you never jump off that bridge because he knows that you can die by doing it. And everybody else is just being stupid by saying, oh, you're going to go in there. The reason why a leader will go in before everybody else is so that you're safe. So that you have a mission and a purpose. So if something happens to them, you can carry on then. There's always somebody to take over the flag. Fort Sumter, great idea. The British is watching as they're bombing the crap out of Fort Sumter, okay? And they're just bombing it and everything else. And they're like, that dang flag won't fall. Why won't the flag over Fort Sumter fall? And why is that motivating to every single person out there? Black, white, men, women, children. Every time that somebody got killed holding up that flag as the British were bombing the crap out of it, they would go and pull up that flag. That flag was beat, battered, and torn. It had more bullet holes in it than everything else. But you want to know something? The leaders led by kept picking up that flag. They would not let it fall, knowing that if it fell, they fail. A leader will keep going, and he'll teach others never to give up, because if you give up, you fail. There's really no such thing as failure in life unless you give up. There is such things as falling down. There is such things as having to take a different path, but there's no such thing as failure unless you give up. If you give up and give in, you're like, oh, that's a scam. Or you give every excuse except the one is, why didn't you do it the right way then? If you're so worried about how others are doing things, why didn't you go forward with you are responsible for yourself? You're responsible for your own actions. Some of the greatest heroes are when they looked at the people above them and said, hey, I'm not doing that because that is wrong. Guess what? They then become the leader. Okay? People that judge people based on skin color, religion, sex, creed, and race, they're not leaders. They're cowards. Why? Because they only want to go with what they're comfortable with. And if they're only comfortable with something that is their own color or own sexuality, then they no longer become a leader. They become a liability. You need to go out there every day, and you don't have to fight every single person. You don't have to get into conflict with every single person whenever you're doing things. What you got to do is you got to get your butt off the couch, brush your teeth, get a good meal in your system, and go out there. It doesn't matter if you're going into combat with the Marines or the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, whatever else. They're all heroes. But you know what? If you're going for a job, that's still a mission you're trying to accomplish. If you're going out there and you want to become the head of your church, or you're going out there and you're wanting to sell Girl Scout cookies, okay? If you're going out there and wanting to run Ironman or a Spartan race or do a Tough Mudder or doing the St. Jude's run or something like that, you always have to have a mission in mind. Everybody that says, well, I just did it, great, but you had a goal. You had a mission. You had a purpose. You saw somebody doing it and you wanted to be just like them. Now you want to be better. Don't ever just aim for being great. Aim for being the best. Have a mission in your heart to do more than everybody else, because you can save more people. You can help more lives. You can actually help your family a lot more. You can put more food on the table. It's not always going to be about money or power or privilege. Sometimes it's just about beating cancer. How many people out there would like to beat cancer? And you can do it, but you got to do it the right way. If you just sit on your butt and say, I'm going to beat cancer, and you don't change your habits, you're never going to beat it. If you go out there and say, oh, I'm going to run this marathon, and you walk the whole damn thing, you're not going to win the marathon. You're not even going to place. I know that down in St. Louis, their marathons they have down there, if you're 20 minutes behind, the race ends, and basically you have to start waiting for the stoplights. Now, why do I bring all this up? Because your mentors and your leaders will lead you, and they will teach you how to do it. If you're around somebody that's not teaching you how to do it, then they're not a leader or a mentor. All they're trying to do is use you to get ahead. A leader or mentor will put you ahead of them and then ask you to pull them up. The reason why is because they are defending you while you're trying to learn and get on your feet. Until you're learning, until you're ready to go, they're not going to give up on you. And even then, they're still going to try to help you. And then they're going to learn from you, because you're going to do things a little bit different. And they get to actually bounce ideas off of you. The people in my life that I know, the sergeant majors, when I got out of the Marine Corps, they were first sergeants. Sergeant Major Military, Sergeant Major Squires, Sergeant Major Edens. Now, they're all sergeant majors, but I don't know them as sergeant majors. But man, they went up in the world. Why? Because they learned from their Marines. Okay? Now, the school teachers that I used to know, they're now retired. They're sitting on the school boards. They're principals of schools. Why? Because they had to start somewhere. So they started at the bottom. But that doesn't mean that you're not better or greater than anybody else. It just means you're learning. When you get motivated, you have to do what it takes to go where you want to go. A mentor will help you. If a mentor is not helping you and they're giving up on you, then you're going to give up on yourself. And if you give up on yourself, you're going to waste time, money, and valuable materials just because you're lazy. Get your butt up. Get out. Get going. You want to become a cop? Then you basically better be able to pass the physical. You want to be a firefighter? You basically better learn to run in when everybody else is running out. Okay? You want to go save somebody's life and you see somebody having a stroke on the floor, then you better learn how to handle that situation so that when everybody else is like, what do we do? What do we do? You go in and you help and you do what's right. You know, I know a lot of famous people that have actually done a lot of good. And you know, they stay out of politics, but they've done a lot of good. They've saved a lot of people. But they also know that they only come when they're called upon. Some of your greatest mentors probably are some of the quietest people you'll know. My dad is probably the quietest person I've ever met in my life. But why is he a mentor? Because he never gave up on me. He may not understand what I'm doing, but it always convinced me to keep pushing forward, to go that extra mile, to not give up. You know, not just be a bullet sponge, but to help pull people out if something happens. Okay? Yes, I've had an aunt or two in my life tell me all I'd be good for is being a bullet sponge. Later on, I get an MBA. I'm graduated in the Marine Corps, you know. I'm successful in the business I'm in. But it took mentors, leaders, and my dad, and certain mentors and leaders such as Rich Ellerman, Brian Carruthers, Melissa Carruthers, Alan Romans, heck, Mel Robeson, great guy. Now, the other key to it is communication. The second thing I'm going to go over real quick is communication. Communication happens like this. If you break down communication anywhere in the chain of command, everyone fails. Simple as that. If you do not have communication, if you're not calling the people you need to call, if you're not asking the questions you need to ask, if you're not reading what you need to read, and you just think it's automatically going to be beamed in your head because that's what computer and sciences do today, you are wrong. If you think that you're going to learn how to fight a battle by Call of Duty or something on PlayStation, you are wrong. You're going to get yourself killed. You're going to get yourself, you're not going to get the jobs you want. You're not going to be able to do the things you want to do. You have to ask questions. You have to move forward in life, and you have to do whatever it takes. I have people all the time tell me, oh, you know, are you in that pyramid thing? Or, oh, are you in that scam? What the hell are you talking about? You've never even learned what I do. I've had people go into a factory and they quit because they don't want to work on a damn paint line because, oh, I'd rather go do meth. I'd rather go do drugs. Get your butt away from the drugs, get away from the meth, and understand this, that those are just jobs. And you can always keep moving up in those jobs. You can move up in everything you do. Maybe you have to make a couple extra sales. Maybe you have to start talking to your foreman to find out what you got to do to get the better position. Maybe you want a new job and you've got to learn how to write a resume. You've got to communicate. I'd go over to the library and start asking the librarians and stuff. Yes, use your local library. My God, that's what they're there for. You don't know why everybody's got free libraries? Okay, maybe you need to start figuring out why we have free libraries. Why libraries are free. Because a philanthropist created that years and years ago. Okay? Carnegie. There you go. Carnegie. Every one of you matters. Every one of you is important. But what good are you if you're sitting on the couch every single day, not getting out, not getting up, not doing something, okay? I know a lot of people say those who can't teach, but I've learned those that teach have already done it. And now they're teaching the next generation how to do it the right way. Now, some of the greatest teachers in my life were the history teachers that actually went out. Mrs. Williams, probably one of the greatest teachers I know. When I was in 7th grade, I took Greek mythology. Loved it, okay? Loved the Greek mythology. Why did I love Greek mythology? Because everybody I had already been there and done that. You know, some of the greatest Marines, some of the greatest soldiers in life were the ones that went through Vietnam and then went through the first Desert Storm. And then when they came back, they actually taught the Marines, soldiers, sailors, whoever they were, on how to do things the right way, not things but somebody wrote down in a book. If you want to learn trucking, do you want to go read a book or do you want to learn from a trucker? You want to learn how to be an infantryman, then you need to learn from a Marine that's already been on the front lines. If you want to, those are inspirations. And those are the teachers that I learned from growing up, that I learned, like Mrs. Williams, she was over in Greece and she brought all this stuff from Greek mythology. And there was a lot of reading, but it was the only thing I loved to read Why? Because she was there. She did that. She went through it all. And that's when I was in 7th grade.